This smells really good, so I'm just going to give it a little try. Some of the egg and the beans and the rice and see how it is. That's yummy. Looking forward to that for my dinner. Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make a delicious egg and bean hot pot with rice. As I just mentioned, today I'm going to be making an egg and bean hot pot. Now this recipe is really easy to do, and to start the recipe what you need is a large saucepan, and I'm going to put this onto a high heat on my hob, and I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the base of that pan as well, and I'm just going to leave the pan to heat up. The pan is getting nice and hot now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an onion that I've peeled, sliced and diced. In the original recipe I said to use a leek, but I used up the last leek yesterday in my fridge and we're getting shopping tomorrow, so I'm having to use some onion today. So I've just, as I said, peeled, sliced and diced one onion, and I'm just going to put that into the base of my pan, and I'm going to fry the onion until it starts to go a lovely golden brown colour. I've continued to fry everything together. I wanted it to become quite soft before I added in the tomatoes, and it feels quite soft now. I think I fried that for about a further 5 minutes or so. So anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes is great. You don't want it to burn, but you do want it just to cook through and soften quite a lot as well. And when it's grated, I do find it tends to soften a lot quicker than if you've just peeled, sliced and diced it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 tin of tomatoes to this as well. I am actually only cooking this for my husband, my son and myself. My son is 9, so he does have a slightly smaller portion than my husband and myself. So I have sort of halved the ingredients, but I am keeping the 1 tin of tomatoes. I did only use 1 tin of tomatoes in this. So yeah, I'm only going to put 3 eggs in this. In the original recipe I put 4 eggs in, so later on I will show you that. But yes, so I am now just pouring in some bone broth to this as well. If you wanted this as a vegetarian dish, then you can use vegetable stock, or if you're not a vegetarian then you can use chicken stock or bone broth as I just did. And I'm also going to add in some cooked beans now as well. So as I said, I've sort of halved the ingredients and then added a little one. That's the great thing about using dried beans, is you can make as much or as little as you want. So I think I've got about 140 grams of dried beans here, and I'm just going to add these to the pot. They have been cooked, sorry. So I soaked them in the fridge overnight and then I cooked them off this morning. And I'm going to try and do a video on that. If I have done it by the time this video comes up, I will link it in the description box below for you. But obviously if it's not there, then I haven't done it yet. So I'm just going to put the lid on, and I'm going to let everything come to the boil now. And I'm just going to turn the heat up as well. So I've started to fry the onion until it starts to go a lovely golden brown colour. The pan is getting slightly hot, so I'm going to turn the heat down slightly, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water to the base of the pan to try and stop the ingredients from sticking as well. So I'm just going to continue to fry while I do that, and then I'm going to add in 1 courgette that I have peeled and grated, and I'm also going to add in 1 carrot that I've peeled and grated as well. You don't have to grate these if you don't want to. You could just simply slice and dice them if you wanted to. The only reason I do it is because I have a slightly fussy husband and son upstairs who don't really like vegetables, but I find if I grate food in, then they don't really know it's in there. So yes, that's why I grate food in. Also, on the subject of my son, I told him the other day we were going to have this for dinner, and he thought a hot pot was literally a pot that was hot. That's what he thought he was getting for dinner, a very hot pot. He said, will it come in a hot pot, Mummy? I was like, no, that's just the name of the dish. So yes, I suppose this is probably, in other countries, you probably call this like a casserole maybe. I'm not too sure. I just like calling it a hot pot. It sounds quite cool, I think, so. And also, if you enjoy videos like this one, and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you have enjoyed this video, then please feel free to give it a big thumbs up, because all of those sorts of thumbs up and subscriptions really help me out as well. So yeah, right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to fry the courgette, the carrot and the onion in the base of this pan. The vegetables have started to come to the boil, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down, and while the vegetables are simmering, I'm going to go and cook the rice. Just remembered, I thought I'd got a little bit better at this, but I haven't obviously. Salt and pepper to your taste, and then I also have some tomato puree to add in and some dried mixed herbs. So I'm just adding a little bit of salt and a wee bit of pepper as well. We don't mind spice in this house, but we don't like things too peppery or too spicy. So I'm just adding those in, and then I'm also going to add in some tomato puree, as I've just said. So I'm just going to add in about a tablespoon of tomato puree to this. In the original recipe I think I said 2, but as it's just Ted, Howard and I'm just going to do 1 for tonight. But you can add in 2 if you love tomato puree. I do love it, but 1's okay, I think. And then I'm going to add in some dried mixed herbs as well. So I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of dried mixed herbs to that. I'm just going to mix those in. And as I said earlier, I am going to leave this to simmer on the hob while I go and cook the rice. As I said, I am going to start cooking my rice. So as you can see, I have my rice in a sieve here, and what I've done is I've weighed and measured out the rice, and then I've simply washed it through over the sink through this sieve. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into the base of my saucepan like so, and then I'm going to add more stock to this. I like to cook rice with stock. I find it gives it more flavour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour enough stock on to the rice, and then about 2 centimetres above. I haven't actually got enough stock, so I'm going to have to top that up with water. So I'm just going to top this up with water like so. So the way you test that you've got about 2 centimetres above, or the way I like to test, is I just like to put a clean finger into the pot, and if the water hits the top of that line on your finger, that's enough water or stock in there. So I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to bring this to the boil, and then I'll turn it down and leave it to simmer. Pan has just started to come to the boil, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium to low heat, and I'm going to leave the rice to simmer until all of the liquid has disappeared, and that should hopefully cook the rice perfectly. While the rice is cooking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some spinach into the pot with the beans and the tomatoes and all the other ingredients. And I'm going to let the spinach wilt down, and then once all the spinach is wilted down, I'm going to add the eggs into this pot as well. So the temperature is on low at the moment. I might turn it back up a little bit, but what I'm going to do is just create 3 wells. So as I said, the original recipe serves 4, but it's just Ted, Howard and myself having this meal tonight. So I've tried to create 3 wells there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack the eggs into the wells, and then I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'm going to let these cook in the pan with all of the tomato sauce as well. So I'm just going to let everything cook, and I'm going to turn the heat back up as well. So I'm going to turn this up to a 7, I think, and then I'm just going to let everything cook. So the eggs haven't taken long at all to cook. In fact, they only probably took about a couple of minutes, but they are cooked now. I don't want them to go too hard because I would like a runny yolk, to be honest. So I'm going to turn the heat off on this, and I'm going to remove it from the heat, and I'm just going to leave it with the lid off, and I'm just waiting for the rice to cook. It shouldn't be too much longer. Brown rice does take a lot longer than white rice to cook, I have to say, but I do find it's a bit more tasty, and also think it's a bit more nourishing for you. I know there's a big debate about brown rice being nourishing, but I do think it is good for you. So the rice has finished simmering and all of the liquid has disappeared, so I'm going to remove this from the heat and then I'm going to serve up, and that will be our dinner done. This smells really good, so I'm just going to give it a little try. Some of the egg and the beans and the rice, and see how it is. That's yummy. Looking forward to that for my dinner. That's how you make my delicious egg and bean hot pot, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. I forgot to say in the video, but you could also have this with couscous, or you could also have it with quinoa if you wanted to, and you could have it as a breakfast with toast as well, or as a nice evening meal with toast too. The options are endless, so yes, anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.